Hi guys, in this video I'll be explaining you about the pathogenesis of reversible cell injury, that how exactly the pathogenesis occurs of a reversible cell injury. So if you remember in the previous video I had said about the etiological causes, okay. In that the every etiological causes leads to a single clinical state called hypoxia and ischemia. Now what is hypoxia and ischemia? Hy- Hypoxia is the lowering of oxygen level inside the blood, that is called hypoxia, means loss of oxygen, or lowering of the concentration of oxygen in blood is called hypoxia. And ischemia is the blood count gets decreased, like rbc gets decreased, because of which results in hypoxia. So, okay, so ischemia is the less number of blood cells in the blood, and hypoxia means lowering of oxygen concentration. Either it may be due to hemoglobin, less hemoglobin count, or either it may be due to less blood cells, okay, rbc. So this is what so the basic cause is hypoxia and ischemia. So everything starts from here. When there is hypoxia and ischemia, you need to remember 6 points in pathogenesis of reversible cell injury. First is decreased cellular atp. Decreased cellular atp is the thing that is, what you can say, it's like a power, we need energy to work, right? So we eat food. Likewise, cells need energy to work, so they need atp. So what happens, because of the less blood going to the part, or going because of the more blood supply, more loss of blood supply, more loss of blood, the what do you call, the atp from mitochondria is generated less, because the preparation for atp is decreased, right? If cell is eating something, if it is getting some nutrient, then only it will prepare atp. But this doesn't happen, because the blood is not supplied. Because of loss of blood supply, the blood is not supplied to the cell, and cell gets deficient of nutrients, because of which it cannot prepare atp. So there is decrease in atp first. Because of decrease in atp, there will be no energy for the cell to work. Then because of this, what happens, the in mitochondria, because of this depletion of atp, there is decrease in ph. How this happens? Because atp is decreased, what happens, the byproducts are not excreted out from the cell. The byproduct is lactic acid. The free radicals all must be excreted out from the cell, but this doesn't excrete out, because there is loss of energy. So basically what happens is, because of this loss of energy, the lactic acid increases inside the cell, and because of which there is a ph gets lowered, okay. So as the ph gets lowered, the medium inside the cell of a cytoplasm gets acidic. Lower pH is the acidic condition, and higher pH is alkaline condition, right? So the pH gets lower. So as soon as the pH gets lowered inside the cell, there is damage to the sodium pump present in the cell wall. See, there is no energy. Because of no energy, the free radicals or the lactic acid is not excreted out. So because of this, what happens, the lactic acid goes on. So we call this as lactic acidosis. So this goes on increasing inside the cell, because of which the pH is lowered. Actually there is an alkaline pH maintained, right? It's above 7, but it decreases below 7, and how this is how the pH is getting lowered. And because of this pH getting lowered, the medium becomes acidic, and this acidic medium starts to damage the cell wall or the cell structure, okay. So as there is damage in cell wall, the first damage to sodium pump. So the sodium pump is damaged. Now what happened, because of this sodium pump getting damaged, free ions of sodium from ecf is transferred to icf, okay, with water. Now sodium and water are like brothers and sisters, so they cannot move away. Because if you keep sodium like exposed outside, then it will burn. It will just burn. It's highly inflammable. So in our body, to maintain that solvent medium, wherever sodium is present, there is water present, because of its this tendency. So because of the damage to sodium pump, the sodium from the ecf enters the icf, okay. So as this enters the icf, now more the sodium ions getting in, more the water will get in. What happened, a cell which was small is now increasing in size because of filling of sodium and water inside it, okay, in the cytoplasm. Now because of this, what happens, as the water and sodium gets on accumulating the spaces, the ribosomes which are generated from the endoplasmic reticulum, and which are which are generated from the endoplasmic reticulum and are placed on the rough endoplasmic reticulum itself. This doesn't happen, this thing doesn't happen. So what happened now, the ribosomes are not getting a perfect place to be settled because of the less space, because of less space inside the cell. So what happened, because of this, as the ribosomes are not secreted, the protein is depleted, the protein synthesis is depleted. And because of this, what happens, the as the protein is not formed, or as the protein is not at all built inside the cell, the if there is no protein, then will there be anything like formation of cell wall or formation of cell organelles? No, this cannot happen, because everything happens because of protein, glycoprotein or lipoprotein. So this synthesis doesn't happen, and glycoprotein is not formed and lipoprotein is not formed, because of which there is functional change. Fifth point is functional change. So because of which the functions of other organelles are depleted, okay, the functions of other organelles are depleted. And because of this depletion, there is finally the ultrastructural change. That means the cell with its shape and size gets changed, the morphology of a cell is changed. This is how the pathogenesis occurs of reversible cell injury. So I hope that you might have understood the topic